Hey everybody, welcome on into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bossert.
What's up, it's your Philly Sports Anchor Devin J. Martin. We got a lot to talk about. We got some wrestling, we got some boys basketball, we got some girls basketball. We've got a lot that we're going to have to go over today, Brandon.
Yeah, last week we focused mainly on the Bayside Conference. This week we're switching it over to the Henlopen Conference for boys basketball, and we're going to recap the week that was in DIAA in the Henlopen Conference.
So, yeah, Dover hadn't played yet, but Cape Henlopen is definitely shown to be a top contender.
Definitely.
And the Henlopen North Vikings winning very important games this week. Two of them. First, they defeated Smyrna easily at home, and they got 17 points from Jacob Shell. And they also have an impressive underclassmen like Jamison Tingle and Jaden Dukes. The Vikings then went on the road to beat a really good Sussex Central team by 1 point, a hard-fought victory on the road.
Yeah, it sure was. Sussex Central is a very talented team, and the fact that they won on the road at Sussex Central shows that Cape Henlopen is a team to watch. Meanwhile, watch out for Caesar Rodney. We'll see him tomorrow when they take on Dover. The Riders keeping it close with Appo following it up with two dominant wins. They have a lot of juniors and seniors on that team. Khalil Kemp and Alex Doherty are both legit scorers for them. So right now, we'll talk about in a couple of minutes who we think are the best teams in the Henlopen North, but both Central and Cape, two top contenders.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Cape win over Central, I'll spoil it a little bit. Central might be the best team or maybe the top two team for me in the Henlopen. So the fact that Cape can go into the home of the Golden Knights and give them a tough win or give them a tough loss, give Cape come out with a W is a real testament to the strength of the Vikings this year.
Absolutely. Now over to the Henlopen South. And this division is wide open this season. We got a few different teams that can win this division. Laurel got a tough test the other night with Salisbury School. They fall to Tyler Ball's kids, but the Bulldogs, who graduated 9 seniors last year, still 2-1 with new head coach Joe Wenke at the helm. Now sophomore Khalil Burton and junior Brock Hill leading a young group who should get better as the year goes on. I don't want people to sleep on the Laurel Bulldogs. I think they have a real chance to show a lot of people something this year.
They actually remind me a lot of last year's team in terms of a lot of length and a lot of athleticism. So they're going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with as long as they continue to apply pressure and force especially on the defensive end. That's how they destroyed Delmarva last week, especially getting turnover after turnover. Now, one team is unbeaten in the Henlopen South, the Lake Forest Spartans. They're 4-0 on the young season. One of the top senior shooters in the conference, and Jackson Starkey, and an incredibly athletic forward, and Darius Miller. He might be the best forward in the entire Henlopen as well. So we got a lot to see what the Spartans are going to be able to do this year. I think they're going to be a lot better than they were last year.
All right, now let's check out our top fives. We did this last week. Let's do it this week with the Henlopen. My number one team, Dover. Second is Cape Henlopen. Third, Sussex Central. 4, we got Lake Forest. Number 5, we've got Smyrna. Dover has 2 elite players in the state in Darrell Little and Denham Perkins.
Ooh, Darrell Little,
plus great coaching. He was a big-time pickup for them from Polytech. Cape has already shown to be a really good team this season. They beat the number 3 squad, Central, who has that size down low with Clarence McBride Allen and shooting with David Maker. We also have Lake Forest with that big-time guard-forward combination with Jackson Starkey and Darius Miller. And I think Smyrna is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Obi Coleman is a player to watch for the Eagles.
Yeah, he's got a lot of size. Obviously, we don't get to go to enough Smyrna games to put them on TV, but they actually are another team
and they
up there in the Henlopen North. They were really good during the summer league as well. And I have a very similar list to you, Brandon. I got Dover at number 1 for many of the reasons that you spoke of as well. I think that backcourt of Denham Perkins and Darrell Little is just going to be too much for other teams to handle, especially Darrell Little. I mean, he was getting buckets last year for Polytech.
He is a contender for the best player in the Henlopen Conference.
And he was already all-state first team last year as a junior, and that was playing with Xavier Brewington and Kyle Gamber for Polytech. So he's going to be a monster at 6'5". I don't know if there's anyone that can guard him one-on-one in the entire Henlopen. Sussex Central was actually not my number 2. Obviously, they lost to Lake Forest, who's also not Lake Forest, Cape Henlopen, who I had at number 4. But I just like long-term the size that Sussex Central has. I think they're going to be a matchup problem for more teams, and I think that one game isn't just indicative of the entire thing. But I also got Lake Forest at number 3. I think it just kind of lives and dies what Darius Miller is going to be able to do. He was a monster last year for the Spartans. Obviously, Cape Henlopen, number 4. They're really, really good. And then Laurel, a lot of athleticism, a big reason why I have them at number 5 as well. Now, Brandon, just like last week, we're going to be holding a draft for the best players, and we're build our own little fantasy team. And we're also going to have a 6-man as well, so 5 players plus a 6-man. And you can vote on social media for for whoever you guys think is the number 1 team between the two of us. Obviously, you've been winning last week for Bayside, but this week, hopefully, things are a little bit different for the Henlopen.
All right, so I got the top overall pick for this week. Just like last week, we're going to go into a snake order. First, number 1 overall pick. I got to go with Darrell Little. We've been talking about him.
Yeah.
He was All-State last year as a junior, sensational scorer, no longer with Poly, now with Dover. He is going to be, in my opinion, the leading candidate for Henlopen Player of the Year this year. So Darrell Little, my number 1 pick.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to make the same mistake as I made last week, going all guards and no size. I knew you were going to pick Darrell Little, so I had to come back with some size on the other end. So Clarence McBride Allen from Sussex Central, the big man. I think he might be the best big man in the Henlopen. He was a force to be reckoned with in the summer league last year at the Kent County Rec Center. And the best part about Allen is that even for this big man, he's really fast. He runs the floor very hard, and that's the best thing that you want in your big man if they're going to run the floor very hard and crash the boards, because he's going to get a lot of easy layups if he just outruns his opponents. I know a lot of guys that are pretty small or slower at his position. He's just going to get easy dunks like that, so you're going to be seeing a lot from that. A lot of that from him this year. And then my second pick for my team, I had to go back to Dover. Denham Perkins, a great point guard, not selfish with the ball. I'm going to see he's going to get a lot of assists to Darrell Little this year, but he's also a very, very good shooter. Very underrated. He makes a lot of shots, and he's bulked up a little bit. I think he gained like 15 pounds on the scouting report this year, so he's going to be able to bully some kids around at his size. But again, he has a knockdown jumper, so Denham Perkins and Clarence McBride Allen are my first 2 picks.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch with Dover this year. My second pick, we're going to go Kashmir Wise. This pick is cash money right here.
Oh, yeah, his jump shot is beautiful.
He has a tremendous shot, deadly from three-point land, and he should be getting a lot of attention on offense this year. He'll no doubt be the leading scorer with the Seaford Blue Jays, but hey, Kashmir Wise, he spots up from 3, and he is deadly from 3. How about number 3 overall for me? Going with another... We're going to go with a forward right here, Darius Miller from Lake Forest. Great shooting, lightning fast. Of course, he's got the hops. You see it right there. He's one of the best forwards in the entire conference. Only a junior this year. So, Darius Miller, he is going to be a player to watch for Lake Forest.
I think he might be one of the most underrated players in the Henlopen as well. He had a monster season last year.
People are going to stop overlooking him this year.
Yeah, he had a monster season last year for the Spartans. He's definitely gotten off to a hot start as well. Now, for my third pick, we're going to go with a player that's kind of new to the he was on the team last year for Cape, but he didn't have that much of an impact only as a sophomore last year. But I got Jaden Dukes. He grew a lot over the summer. He's a bigger guard. He's very aggressive, got some nice definition and size to him. That means he can get to the different spots on the floor and get any type of shot that he likes.
That's a nice gather and finish.
Yeah, it sure is. And he has a nice jump shot, too. So when you got size like that, you can dribble, you can finish. There's really nothing that he can't do. Maybe he's not a vertical threat, but you don't really have to be if you have the skill and the strength to finish at the rim like that. So he is my 4th pick for my team from Cape Henlopen. That's Jaden Dukes. And then number 5, I got Rashad Hopkins from Indian River. He was a really good role player last year for IR. And now with Brandon Bradford out, he's going to have to step up. He's going to be the senior leader, and he's going to be getting a lot more opportunities and touches on the offensive end. He was a solid big man down low, great at finishing off the pick and roll, really good at finishing at the rim. He actually started their season yesterday against Woodbridge. They lost, but he had 18 points.
All right.
So he's definitely going to be putting up a lot of buckets for the IR this year.
A nice sleeper pick there. The Indian River man going number 5 to Devin. All right. Well, now I got a big man for my next pick. It's Obi Coleman for Smyrna. This is a guy who can get behind, who you can get behind as a sleeper pick. He is dominant down low with a smooth jumper as well, always crashing the boards. And 6'5", 6'6" for Smyrna. He is going to be a dominant force up there in the Henlopen North. He should be a big reason why Smyrna wins more than 3 games this year.
Absolutely.
And finally, I'm going with yet another Spartan from Lake Forest, Jackson Starkey, this kid absolutely shoots the lights out on the court. He is a tremendous three-point shooter. We saw him as a freshman. He's only gotten better. He is one of the top scoring guards in the Henlopen Conference, especially from three-point land. If he gets hot, you got to watch out. He's got one of the best heat checks in the entire Henlopen South.
He's left-handed. Every basketball player knows if you're left-handed, you can
I didn't realize that, but
yeah, you can automatically shoot. I don't know what it is, but if you're left-handed, you can automatically knock out
my brother's left-handed, and he had a tremendous jump shot too growing up. So it must be something about the lefties. You must be onto something there.
So my final pick for my starting five, we're going to go back to Sussex Central. We got David Maker, the point guard. He's entering his junior year. He's going to be setting up a lot of passes for Clarence McBride Allen, but he's also going to be taking a lot of shots himself, especially now that he's got an increased role in the backcourt. He's got a nice jump shot, and I think this year is going to be a difference maker for him and the Golden Knights because he can definitely shoot the lights out, and you can see nothing but net for a lot of the shots that he's been making. So, Brandon, for my final pick, sixth man, I'm going to actually go for a home run pick. We don't have a lot of
You're going with a lottery pick right
Yeah,
here.
I definitely am. I'm going with Isaiah Giles from Woodbridge. He's a 6'3" forward. He's been playing varsity since his freshman year for the Blue Raiders. He didn't do too much on the court the last couple years, but he's another player that is kind of like a project. That's how the Blue Raiders have been looking at him the past couple years.
Right.
And he sprouted up this year. He already had 17 points in one of the games when they blew out Indian River yesterday by 40 points. So I'm expecting a lot from him this year. So he's going to be my sixth man, Isaiah Giles.
All right, Isaiah Giles. You heard it here first from Devin. My last pick is going to be point guard Jamison Tingle from Cape Henlopen, the freshman who was a standout as the quarterback for the Cape Henlopen Vikings this year. He's already shown up for Cape. Can do it all this year. Gets a lot of rebounds, actually. Has great range as well, great three-point shot. And he's gotten over 10 rebounds a couple of games so far this year. So Jamison Tingle is a player to watch for as well this year. I think Cape Henlopen is going to shock some people this season, and it's going to be because of Dukes and Jamison Tingle as well.
I noticed a lot of our players have come from, Dover, Cape Henlopen, Smyrna, and Lake Forest.
Yep. Yeah, so those are some of the best teams in the Let's go ahead and recap our squads now. Mine, Darrell Little from Dover. We've got Kashmir Wise from Seaford, Darius Miller from Lake Forest, Obi Coleman, Smyrna, Jackson Starkey from Lake Forest, and sixth man, Jamison Tingle.
So my pick, you see, Clarence McBride Allen, Denham Perkins, Jaden Dukes, Rashad Hopkins, and David Maker, and then sixth man Isaiah Giles. So hopefully, you guys can vote for me this time. We got hopefully it's a little bit closer. I think you were winning with like 60-40 last week on the Bayside polls.
Yeah, you got to pick size, Devin. You learned your lesson this week.
I had to pick some size, but you do have the person who's the favorite to be the Henlopen Player of the Year in Darrell Little. He was definitely a monster. So I'm really impressed with I have to say, Brandon, I think you would be a really good GM.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That is actually a mission of mine in life.
I think you'd be a really good GM
as well.
You made some really good picks for
your
fantasy
if you want to vote on this, we're going to have a poll up on our X page, 47 ABC Sports. You can go ahead and comment and vote your heart away. All right, we're going to take our first time out, but when we return, Sayla Foreman back on the court this season. Lighten it up as always. Highlights from her game coming up next on DSI.
What's up, Kareem Bolden here, 2023 state champ, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insiders.